And welcome back. Running a marathon, no small feat. Imagine doing it while wrestling with deep self-doubt, fear, and the quiet but relentless voice of imposter syndrome. Well, that's our next guest story, her new memoir, More Than a Tale of Endurance. It's a raw and honest look at what it means to push past your limits, start where you are, and believe you are enough. Joining me now is a social worker and author of Don't Wait, Marie Dunn. And Marie, good to have you.
It is such a pleasure to be
It's
here,
a pleasure
Daren.
to have you here. I feel like today's show should be about conquering my fears. Like, you know, I mean, this is really.
Exactly.
So when I looked at your story, you know, seeing the fact that you really, you know, this great marathon runner here, but you didn't quite get there because you had some fear that you had to overcome. But yet still you're able to do it, right?
Yes.
And so you've used this as a part of your journey. So tell me, first of all, what made you get into marathon running altogether? I mean,
So, to be honest, it's just curiosity. I was always intrigued with just like, how can a human possibly run 26 miles? And so my mind was like, why not challenge yourself and see how it feels? And that's how I actually got into it, just pure curiosity and just intrigued that someone could actually do that.
right. So you got into it, you said, okay, I'm intrigued, I want to do this. But here comes this component of like, can I do it?
Yes, and that was the really, that moment, because it's like, I think about it, it looks, because it's so glorified. You see it on TV and it's like, yay. So in my head, I like to say I was between clue and less. I had no idea. All I was focused on was getting to the finish line, but I didn't understand the process to get there. I say to people, I ran 765 miles just to run 26 miles, right? So I think in life, there is process. You can't have process without progress, right?
Right.
And so I had to learn the hard way, because now, okay, yeah, you're running a marathon, but it's not gonna be that easy, right?
Right.
Now the training comes in, right? And like I said in my book, right, life was lifing. I'm a social worker, I am a part-time clinician. I'm also the founder for a nonprofit organization that I started for my dad, and I'm always volunteering, right? And so I had to figure out, how am I gonna build this training in? Because you had to train. And so I start my day at 3:30 in the mornings. That was the only way to do it, because I had to get—
3:30. You go real quick over that. 3:30 in the morning. Go ahead.
I start my day at 3:30 in the morning. And I was saying earlier to someone that was in the studio that my why propelled me. I was compelled, I'm gonna do this. So my why basically ground me. It's like thinking about building a house.
Right.
You need a foundation. So my why was my foundation. And so I had a commitment. I committed to this process. So how am I gonna do it? My job is not gonna say it's okay for you to start your day later. Life went on. So when I start at 3:30, it gives me enough time to get up, get myself together, go through my morning routine, and also be out the door by 5 a.m. So I have to train, do my runnings, and then get back home, get dressed to be at work for 9 o'clock in the mornings.
And so this process of really going through and training, and you had to endure self-doubt, but then also, you know, you talked about the ability to be able to push through and persevere.
Yeah.
Right. When did that come about? Because we know when doubt comes, the first thing that comes into us is like, I'm not doing this. But then, you know, there's this the turnkey moment.
Yes.
That turnkey moment for you is when?
The first day I went to the gym, and that was February 23rd. I went into the gym to start my training, and I got on the treadmill. And of course, I'm from the Caribbean, right? And the cold weather, it doesn't sit well with me. And so when I went to the gym that first morning, I was on the treadmill, I think it's like for an hour, and I think I did like probably 1.26 miles. I was deflated. I was devastated. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And so I went back home, and I'm like, okay, baby girl, because I like to be affirming to myself. I said, baby girl, it's going to be okay. Let's try this again. I went back the second morning, and I was like, okay, it's getting somewhere. It's not too bad. But then I said to myself, why don't you go back to what it is that you're used to and that you're comfortable to? And by the way, I was already offended because I was using my brother's gym pass. And of course, when I got there, they had to shout me out, right? Listen, you can't come to the gym without your brother being present. and gave me a whole scolding. So my ego was a little bit bruised, but I was like, later for you. I'll just go into the open air because that's what I'm used to. I'm from the country. We're used to nature and just being out one-on-one with the air and all that stuff. And so I decided to just start training outdoors. And my first day, I laughed so hard. So I connected with Oliver Samuels. He's a profound actor back in Jamaica, comedian. And there's this skit where he was like coming to New York. He didn't even leave Jamaica and he was so fully dressed. So that was sort of me the day I was going out to run because it was snowing. It was frigid. Wow. I overdressed. I didn't even have the proper gears then. Because remember, I just decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to start where I'm at. So I overdressed and heat. I almost had a whole heat stroke, but I did 8 miles. Amazing. My first try in the cold, in the snow, I ran 8 miles.
And you're here today to tell the story, right?
Yes, I am.
And it wasn't an easy story, but
it's not easy.
But I know that in your work, you have this acronym that's called BOLD, right?
Yes.
And that's in the book, but it's also a part of your daily mantra.
Absolutely.
For somebody who doesn't know what BOLD means, give us the acronym.
Absolutely. Brilliantly overcoming life's disappointments. In life in itself is we're going to have challenges, we're going to have setbacks, but it's not what you do with what happened to you. It's how you're able to navigate when those challenges comes up. And I think for me throughout my entire life, and this is the opening in my book, Resurrection, I had a near-death experience in 1996 where the doctors pretty much, they had no medical explanation. And they literally told my parents to go home, make funeral arrangements. And so in that moment, my sister, and faith comes into play a lot with my family as well. And she recalled coming in to the ICU that next day. And pretty much they told her that they were like preparing my body for the morgue. And she said, she started talking to me because I love food. And she said to me, if you wake up, I will make you ackee and saltfish, that's our national dish, with dumplings for the rest of your life. And she said she saw a tear drop. And she screamed for the doctors and they came. So I'm a miracle in itself. So when you really think about life, we are not excluded from having challenges, but it's about your mind. You change your mind, you change your life because it's all possible. So when you talk about the self-doubt, and when the imposter syndrome, like thinking I'm a fraud, thinking I'm not good enough, I had to talk myself through that. So it's the positive self-talk, the affirmations, and consistently remind myself I'm good enough. Like I say, my bracelets, I got this. I talk myself through things and tell myself it's okay.
Imposter syndrome is real. I want you to share with me, we've got some books that you've written and the opportunity to get some of our viewers connected to these books here.
Absolutely. So folks may think I'm a first-time author, but I'm actually a 6th-time author. So don't wait. This is the new book that's actually out. It's about overcoming your fears and fighting through resilience. And also there is an alter ego, Toya J. And she is this woman who like literally walked me through this marathon as well. She was actually my trainer because Toya doesn't think that anything can. She is beyond life, and she thinks you can do it. So this is basically it's more on the romance side, erotica, and pretty much it's about love. It's universal. We get our hearts break. How do we overcome? Right. So and then we have tease, again another erotica, and we have journal. So my 99 plus inspiring thoughts, because journaling is also a tool that I use to help me navigate my challenges. I created my own journal. Bold soul searching monologues, it's all about looking deep within, because everything that we're looking for, change starts within. It's internal, not external. Right. And then Bold, which is my very, very first book, Bold Her Liberation, that I created when I was in a really difficult time. I got injured on the job. I was assaulted. And I used bold writing to get me through those depressive times. And everything can be found on my website, www.beboldtoya.com.
So when I think about your life, I think about the fact that here you are, this marathon runner now, right? And then at the same time, you've had life is lifing, right?
Yes, life is lifing.
Near-death experiences, and then yet and still, you find the time to be the author, you find the time to train, you work this out. To the average person, this is like a lot going on. But you're able to maintain a healthy and a plentiful balance.
Absolutely.
How does one do this? I mean, you got a lot going on here. Go ahead.
It's easy. Don't overthink things. Oftentimes we put so much pressure, and then also we think about society, the societal pressure. I don't do that. I live my life on my terms, right? And I do what makes me happy, what sets my soul on fire. And so if you have gotten to the space where you're healed, where you're not seeking validation from anyone else, it's so much easier. And I think I also educate myself a lot. So David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. He is just my guy because I think he's such an inspiration in my life because he's able to do it. So why can't I? It's about how you see yourself. And for me, pain is my motivation. Like I just finished my ultra marathon. So I didn't get to the 50 mark, but I was able to do 41.28 miles, lost the toenail. I had to literally go to the doctor and get it surgically removed, my toenail. But it's okay. The toenail is gonna come back, right? So don't sit and think about what's not working. I focus on, I live in gratitude. So if we change the way our perception of how we're looking at our life and stop saying, I can't do this. You start exactly where you are. Perfection, it doesn't exist. That's an illusion. Stop. Start right this minute. You want to be an author? Every single day, commit to 5 minutes. You start 5 minutes and you just write whatever comes to mind. You just have to start. And once you start, the universe will really conspire to get you to where you need to.
Marathons. I want to go back for a minute because as you talk about running and losing your toenail, I'm like, oh my God! But now you ran a couple, and what's your favorite one?
Absolutely, I love the ultra marathon.
Okay.
I love the ultra marathon because, again, you make preparation, you have your plan. So I had my playlist, figured it out, but it was in Rockland County, and the reception was poor. So guess what? I had no music.
No.
I ran my 41 miles in silence. And because I practice, so everything that you do, it takes practice. Daily steps you take. And so I was able to do my 41 miles in silence.
No moment of panic when there's no music?
No, I was because I trained myself that way.
Right.
Because I think for me, every time I go to do any run, I execute how I trained myself. So I'm always prepared.
So what's next, Marie?
What's next? I'm going to go back next year to finish that 50 miles, and I may challenge myself and do 100 miles. And my goal also, it's separate from running, skydiving. I'm in the process of learning to skydive by myself. So I'm going to do some jumps this summer. So
really?
I'm excited.
Yeah. This is the show, like, release your fears, just go for it. I mean, just science, technology, engineering, math, just jump out of buildings, jump out of planes, buildings, whatever. I mean, I feel empowered right now. Yeah. Ask me tomorrow how I feel, I'll let you know. But I feel empowered right now. What advice do you have? I was talking earlier, talk about advice, and what advice do you have for somebody? Because obviously your story is a story of resilience, right? And it's required in this journey. So what advice do you have for people who are really just going through it right now and resilience seems like, so far away?
So I don't like the word advice. I like recommendation.
There you go.
So don't overthink it and reach out and connect to others, people who mean well for you. And within that journey, you have to stop because only you can change you. It doesn't matter if you go to a therapist, it doesn't matter. Healing starts with you and it's within. So you're going to acknowledge what it is that you need to do differently. Once you've acknowledged that, then you start planning. Planning is key. If you don't have a plan, you ain't getting anywhere, right? And then the third one is to execute it. You could always sit here and talk about, I want to do this. If you're thinking about it and you don't have the action behind it, it doesn't make sense. So be true to who you are. Once you're acknowledging it, you commit to it, make a plan, execute.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Marie, thank you so much. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
You do some great work, and certainly I want people to get connected to your books. And then she's also a social worker, so she can help you through. I need you to understand that. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
All righty, listen, now if you want more information, visit the website at beboldtoya.com. Tell you, don't go anywhere. Guess what? We got more open coming up right after this.